We are live. Hi everyone, welcome back to Geeks for Geeks practice. Today in this video we'll be discussing the Geeks for Geeks problem of the day. That is for 18th of Feb. The name of the problem is Rearrange, Geek and his classmates. So consider giving me a quick plus one in the chat if my voice is clearly audible to everyone and the screen is visible, so that I can start with this problem as soon as possible. And although the level of this problem has been written as easy, but I find it to be a medium level problem for someone who is trying to solve this in order of one space complexity, right? So this is an observation based problem. Also there's a little bit of mathematical kind of approach required for this problem for solving in order of one time, one space complexity. Order of one space complexity is very much easy. So just give me a quick plus one in the chat if my voice is clearly audible to everyone and the screen is visible, so that I can start with this particular problem. Hi Zayed. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone else to join so that we can start with this particular problem. And just let me write the problem statement. So the problem says that you have to rearrange Geek and his classmates, right? So in this problem what you have to do is you have to rearrange Geek and his classmates. So I'll be letting you know the level of this problem has been mentioned as easy, but you can consider the level easy when you will be doing in order of n time and order of n space, right? If you are doing it in order of n time and order of one space, right, in that case you have to consider it as a medium level problem. So this is one thing that I wanted to mention, because some people, although since there are a lot of summations, so that is why they might have written it as an easy problem, but although I find it to be a easy medium or a medium problem, right? So all of you can just give me a quick plus one in the chat. Everyone like the video and give me a quick plus one in the chat so that we can start with this problem, right? So I'll just read out the problem statement for you. So the problem says that Geek and his classmates are playing a prank on their computer science teacher. So they are playing a prank and they change their places every time the teacher turns to look at the blackboard. So every time the teacher is looking at the blackboard, so they turn they are changing their positions, right? All of you can just give me a quick plus one in the chat if my voice is clearly audible and the screen is visible. On their computer science teacher. So okay, right. So what will be given is each of the n students in the classroom can be identified by a unique roll number. So every student in the classroom is having a unique number and each desk is numbered I, right? So in this particular thing, that let's say that you have been given an array, right? You have been given an array. So for every element of the array you have the index, right? For a given array, let's say A, you have the index, right? You have the index as 0, index as 1, 2, 3, something like this, right? And you have the ith element. Let's say it is a of I, right? Ith element is a of I. So it is saying that the ith element will be having some roll number. So the roll number will be a of I and it is for the ith element, right? So bench number is 1, right? So is this much part clear to everyone? Now what it is saying is, the problem is saying that only one student can sit on one desk, right? So on one desk on one ith index, only one student can sit. Now how they are rearranging the problem will be telling us that. All of you can just give me a quick plus one in the chat if everything is working fine and up till now you have understood the problem, right? Now each time the teacher turns her back, so every time the teacher is turning towards the blackboard, a student will with the roll number X sitting on the desk I gets up and takes the place of the student with roll number I, right? What does this mean? So let me just copy this test case. So the test case is nothing but 0, 5, 1, 2, 4, 3, right? Let me just write it. So if the test case is something like 0, 5, 1, 2, 4, 3, let me just check again. 0, 5 and then what we have, 0, 5, 1, 2, 4, 3, right? If we have this particular test case, then let's suppose that that the element is 5, right? So it's in, let me do the indexing part. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is saying that this particular person, if I'm considering this particular person, so the student sitting at the ith index, right? So I value is 1 here. What is I value? Just let me erase this much part. So what it is saying is that since the I value is 1 here, right, I'll explain what the problem statement is saying. So problem statement is saying that suppose for this I is equal to 1, suppose for this particular index, what is array of I? Array of I is equal to nothing, that is x is equal to nothing but array of I is equal to nothing but 5, right? So what they are saying, let's read out the problem statement. It says that it says that each time the teacher turns back, a student with roll number X, that is roll number AI, sitting on the desk I, gets up and takes the place of the student with roll number I. The student is taking the place of the student with the roll number I, right? So what is the student with roll number I? So if I'll check in this particular test case, you can see that 5 is sitting at which particular position? 5 is sitting at this position, right? 5 is sitting here, right? 5 is sitting here. So since 5 is sitting at 1, so what is happening? 5 is now coming to 2, right? 5 is coming to 2. How does it happen? Can anyone tell me in the chat? Basically what is happening is, basically the thing that is here is, if you will observe this particular test case, so let me write the final answer so that we can observe 0 3 5 1 4 2, right? 5 1 4 and 2, if this is the test case, right? So you can easily observe what is happening. What is happening is, a student with roll number X is sitting on the a student with roll number X, let me see it here. So a student with roll number X here, a student with roll number X X on the desk gets up and takes the place of the student with roll number I, right? So it is taking the place of the student with roll number I. So what is this student? So I can say that it is taking, what is this index, right? So the current index is 1, right? Here the index is 1. You can observe that the index is 1. So which element, where is the element at the index 1? So it is this one, right? This one. So this 5 is taking the place of this. 5 is taking the place. What is the index of 5? The value for X is equal to 5, I is equal to 1, right? So I am going to this particular element, whichever element is there. So this particular one I am going to, and 5 is sitting there. So you can see that 5 is sitting in place of this one here, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? 5 has index 1, so it takes the position of 1. Yes, it takes the position of 1, right? You can see, as it was mentioned, it is very important to clear this problem statement. That is, they are saying a student with roll number X sitting on the desk I gets up and takes the place of the student with roll number I, right? So that is why 5 is taking the position of this one, right? Similarly, it's happening for everybody. Like if you will consider 0, so if you will consider 0, right? Let's consider for this element. So for this element, X is equal to 0, I is equal to 0, right? So at I is equal to 0, it will come back to this position again. So that is why 0 will remain at its position, right? Please give me a quick +1 in the chat if you have understood the problem statement, right? A little bit quick +1 in the chat and like the video, so that you have so that I know that okay, you have understood this much part of the question, and then we can proceed further with this part, right? Can we proceed further? You can just give me a quick +1 in the chat if you have understood this much part, so that we can proceed further, right? That how the changing is being done, how this much part is done, and now we'll be discussing how we'll be approaching this particular question. Have you understood it? Just give me a quick +1 in the chat. I'll let you know in brief again. Like I'm just copying this test case. Okay, let's move down. So if this is the test case that I have with me, so what I'll be doing is, suppose that this is the test case, right? This is the test case that you have, right? This is the test case, initial test case that you have been given, and this is the final answer. So for now you can forget it. But what you'll be doing in this particular case is, like you can see this, right? So if you will observe the final answer, let's try and observe the final answer as well. Let me just do a little bit of Control Z. So what I want to say is that this 0 is remaining at its position, right? Now what is happening with this 5? Right? What is happening with this 5? This 5 is coming at this particular position, at the position of 1. Right, so this 5 is coming here. So I have considered 0, I have considered 5. Now let's check for this 3. This 3 is coming at the position where this 3 is coming. This 3 has the index what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this 3 is coming at the position of 5. So this 3 is coming here, right, at the position of 5. Now this 1 will come. This 1 will come where 2 is sitting. So 2 is sitting at this index. So 1 will come here. So 1 is sitting here, right? I have already told you. Now this 4 is 4. For 4 I have to consider the index 4. So index 4 is 4 itself. So it will remain here. And then for 2, as I already told you, for 2 I have to check where the element 3 is there, right? So for 2 I check, okay, 3 is where? 3 is here, right? So at this particular position 2 should be sitting. So 2 is here, right? Please give me a +1 in the chat if you have understood it, how this is happening, right? That suppose X is equal to A of I. X is equal to A of I. So what is happening? For X is equal to A of I, I am making it like this. I'm considering that okay, whatever is the I position, now the new element will be sitting here, right? Now this element will be sitting here. So what I can say is that the current element, right, the current element, that is this 5, where it is sitting, I'm considering this I, and then I'm considering for this ith element where my ai is sitting, right, where my ai is sitting. So that's why what I'm doing is I'm doing nothing but ai is equal to a of I, right? This is something that I'm doing. This is something that I'm doing. Can you observe this thing, that a of I, right? Is this much part clear to everybody? Have you understood this part? Just give a like to the video and give me a +1 in the chat if you could understand this part, right? Right, is this much part clear to everybody? Just let me know in the chat so that we can proceed further. Is it clear to everybody? Is it? Right. Now in this particular problem, what you can observe is, let's try and see, right? I hope that you have understood it. Basically a of I is the new position, right? For every element, the new position for every element, every element is a of I, right? This is what I am doing. Now how am I doing this? So let me just copy this particular test case so that you can understand it better. So I'll just consider this, okay, right? So if this is the test case that has been given to me, suppose I have a new array, right? Suppose I have a new array that I have with me, and suppose in this particular array I do the divisions like this, here, and here, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. So I'll mark the indexes 0. I'll mark the indexes here like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the indexes, right? So what I'm saying is, where is this element 0 going to? This element is going to every element is going to a of I, right? Like this, every element is going to this particular position. I can say that the new position for every element is a of I. What is a of I? What is a of I for this 0? For this 0, it is 0, right? So what is a of 0? What is a of 0? A of 0 is nothing but 0 itself, right? A of 0 is 0 itself. So I'll write 0 here. Then now next step, let me check. What is happening? What is a of I? Currently, if I am here, so my a of I is 5, right? What is a of I? A of I is 5. Now, which element is sitting at 5, right? Which element is sitting at 5? So I'll do this. So a of 5, what will I get? A of 5, I'll get 3, right? I'll get 3. Is this much part clear to everyone? That at a of 5, like that is a of 5. What will I get at a of 5? This particular element 3. So also you can observe in the final answer that 3 is sitting here, right? 3 is sitting here. You can see, right? You can see this. The 3 is sitting at the second position. Now what is happening with for this particular next element? Let me change the element. So if I'm here at this particular element, right? So if my a of I is 1, then what is a of I? So a of I, that is this thing, a of 1. What is at a of 1? At a of 1 I had 5, right? At a of 1 I had 5. So in this particular index I'll have 5, right? At this particular index I'll have 5 sitting here, right? Now next up I'll move here. So I move to this particular position. So what is my a of I? Currently my a of I is nothing but 2. So what will be the new element here? A of I at this particular index. At this particular element index, the new element will be a of I. So what will it be equal to? A of I will be equal to nothing but a of 2. What is a of 2? A of 2 is nothing but 1. So I'll write 1 here. Then what will happen? I'll move to the next index. So I'll say, okay, let's move to the next index. I move to this particular index. Once I have, all of you can just consider to hit the like button if you have understood this much part, right? All of you can just consider to hit the like button if you are understanding this much part. Please write clear in the chat if you have understood up till now, right? Now I'm at this particular element. So a of 4 is what? A of I. Let's say a of I. Current element index I is here. So a of I is what? A of I is 4. What is a of I? A of I is nothing but what? A of 4. What is a of 4? A of 4, because a of I is 4. So this means which element is there? 4. So I'll write 4 here. Then what will happen next up? You can see that this is how it is getting updated. In this question, you just had to decompose that. Okay, this is the situation that is happening ultimately. That the new at every index, the new element will be nothing but a of I. As I told you, right? That okay, this 5 was here. This 5 was here, right? So this 5 at the index 1, which element was there? Index 1, this element was there. So 5 is moving here, right? So you can see 5 is here, right? So that's how it's happening. Okay, Is this much part clear to everyone? Please write clear in the chat if you have understood this part. Now, what is happening with this 4? 4 will remain here. Now, next up, what is my a of I? So I'll move here. Once I move to this 3, so my a of I 3 is 3. What is a of 3? What is a of 3? A of 3 is nothing but this element. A of 3 is nothing but this element 2. So I'll place my 2 here, and this will be my final answer, right? Final answer. Is this much part clear to everybody? How am I doing this? Please give me a quick plus one in the chat if you have understood this part, right? Have you understood this part? Please give me a clear in the chat. Please write clear in the chat if you have understood it, and please consider to like the video as well, right? Have you guys understood this part? Did you understand this much part? Please write clear. Okay, what about others? What about Shreya and others? And why am I taking another array, right? This is another array. Let's say this is another array. Let's say V. Like I am taking another array V. Why did I do so? I did so because let's suppose that these are the indexes, right? So you will say that okay, 0 is remaining at the position 0. But if I'll do the overwriting part, so what is happening is, notice that at the second index I am writing the element as 3, right? I am writing the element as 3. So if I am writing the element as 3, so instead of this 5, if I update it here 3, then what will happen is when I will be at this particular index, right? When I'll be at this particular index, when my a of I will be when my a of I will be 3, right? When my a of I will be 3, so what will happen with this element is, with this a of I, with this concept, with this a of I, what will happen? A of 3 will become what? A of 3 will have changed, right? It might happen that let's say I'm at this particular position. Let's assume that I was here, right? Assume that I come here. So what will happen here? If I am here, so a of I is nothing but 1, right? A of I is nothing but 1. In that case, the overwriting part will be done, right? So that's why I'll have duplicates. Why? Because if a of I is 1, right? So what is a of I? A of I will be nothing but a of 1, right? Because a of I is 1, so this will be 1. So what will happen with a of 1? A of 1 is 3. So at this particular position also I might end up writing 3, right? At this particular position I might end up writing 3, whereas actually the answer should have been 5, right? So that is why I am using extra space, so that I can initialize every element like this, right? I can make the new element updated to a of I, and if I did it like this, if I did the overwriting in the same array without anything, so in that case this will be the situation. 3 and 3 will occur multiple number of times and 5 will get lost, right? Please write a quick plus one in the chat if you have understood this part. Why I am using the extra space, right? Please write clear in the chat, guys, so that we can proceed further. Please give me a quick plus one in the chat if you have understood why we are using the extra space, why we are using another array for storing the new elements at every ith index as a of I, right? Because otherwise the elements would get overwritten, and I might lose 5, and like a of I, if I'm at this particular index, right? If I'm at this particular index, then I needed 5, whereas actually I'm updating it with 3, so that will give me an error, right? So this is what is happening. Now next up, what I need to observe is, I need to observe that okay, I have done this particular question using this way. So doing this way, what is happening? The time complexity for this particular approach is order of n, right? Because I'm iterating through the array once, right? I have this particular array and I'm iterating through it once, right? So the time complexity is order of n, and the space complexity for this particular approach is order of n, because I'm using extra array, right? I'm using extra array, right, for storing, right? Let me show you the code part for this particular approach, then I'll be coming to how we can optimize this question using the mathematical observations in this particular question, right? So what I've done is, basically what I've done is, I've made this particular array, right? So in the end I don't have to return, since I don't want to return anything, I have just to, this is void, so I'll just have to update the array. So what I'll be doing in this particular thing is, I'll be given this particular array, right? So what I'll be doing is vector of int v a comma n. So what I'm doing is, I've made a new vector in which I've copied the original vector a, right? I've copied the original vector a. Then if I've copied the original vector a, then this v will behave like a, right? This outside v will behave like a. So every time I am updating, so now overwriting problem is not there. Why overwriting problem is not there? Because this array A I had to return the final answer, right? Array A is the final answer that will be checked. So that's why if even if I am overwriting it here, so I have already stored V. So that is why V is equal to A of I is equal to V of AI, right? So that is how I am updating it, and in this way, the array will get updated, right? Please write a quick +1 or a clear in the chat if you have understood this one part, and give me a +1 in the chat, right? Now, next up, there can be another approach for this particular problem as well, right? And that is a challenge that lies ahead of us. Suppose that if we have to do it in order of n space and order of one space and order of n time, right? If you have to do it this way, then this becomes a medium problem. Then the problem becomes medium. Why? Because this will become challenging, because you have to do it in place, like without using extra space, right? We have to do it without using extra space, right? You have to do it without using extra space. If we are not using any extra space, then in that case we will have to think of something else, right? In that case, I know for sure, let me just copy this test case here. In that case, what is the thing is that I know for sure in that case that, okay, this is the given array, that has been given to me. I know that for sure this is the given array, but here the situation is that I need to update this array in such a way, if I have to do this in order of one space, right? Please write clear in the chat if you can understand that why there is a challenge in doing in order of one extra space, right? In just order of one space complexity, why it is challenging. Please give me a quick +1 in the chat if you understand this part, right? Or if you can just consider to give a quick +1 of the clear in the chat or understood in the chat, so that I can understand that you are understanding why it is a little bit challenging to do this in order of one space. Why? Because in that case you don't want to lose the previous element. Like as I said, that if you are updating this element with 3, then what is happening if you are checking here? So this 3 would come here, right? Because you are copying it like this, right? So this, what will happen with this particular element? 3 will come here, right? But actually 5 should have been present, right? So that's the issue that might happen, right? Please write clear or a +1 in the chat. Hi Navneet. Okay, Shreya, it's clear to Shreya, right? So now how can we do this, right? So what I'll do is, believe me what I'm saying. You initially saw that the trick here is that I have my A of I, right? I cannot change the fact that I cannot change this fact, right? What I cannot change is I want to update this 5 to 3. That is something that I want, right? I want to update this 5 to 3, and I also want this 5 to be there, right? I also want to remember that, okay, previously 5 was present. I want to update this 3, right? Instead of this 5 at this particular position, I want 3, right? You can see here, and I have explained already why I want 3 here. I want, instead of this 5, I want 3 here. But the thing is I don't want to lose this 5 as well. Why? Because when I'll be coming to this particular index, right? So at that particular point of time, I know that this 5 was coming here, right? So that's why this, instead of this 1, 5 would get updated. So that's why what I will be doing is, I know currently what is the thing. Currently A of I is storing only one number, right? Only one number. Target is what? What is the target that I am having? What is the target? Target is to store the new number at I, right? Target is to store the new number at index I, right? At index I, and don't lose the previous number, right? Previous number which was present there, right? Previous number. Like in this case, I updated this 5 to this 3, but I did not want to lose this 5, right? I did not want to lose this 5. Please write clear in the chat if you have understood this part. That my target here is, the challenge or the target here is that I want a new number at the new at this every index I want a new number according to the replacement policy that has been told to me. But I don't want to lose the previous number, because that previous number would be helping me in future, right? Please write clear or a +1 in the chat if you have understood this much part, because this is very important for this question. That I don't want. Now how I can get internship at GFG? You can go to careers.geeksforgeeks.org, and there you will find several internship opportunities there. You can apply on the portal, and if the recruiter finds your profile suitable, so he or she will connect with you. Okay, right. Is this much part clear to everyone? Please give me a quick +1 in the chat if you have understood this part. That the target is that I don't want to lose, I want to update the current number, I want to update the current index, and I don't want to lose the previous number, right? So what I will be doing in this particular thing is, I know that my array can store only single number, right? I know that my array A of I can store only one number. But what if I say that in my A of I, I'll store two numbers, right? I'll store two numbers. This is what I'm saying. in my A of I, I'll store two numbers. That is, one is the new number, right? One is the new number that I'll be updating at the current index, and another number, the previous number, right? Did you understand this part? Did you understand this part? That what I am doing? Okay, please write clear in the chat if you have understood this. That now the challenge is that since I want to do it in order of one space, right? So that's why what I'll do is my A of I has to store two numbers. The responsibility of A of I has increased in this particular test case, because now my A of I has to do what? A of I has to keep a track of the previous number as well as the current number. So I'll manipulate my A of I in such a way, I'll devise some strategy, I'll devise some concepts in such a way that my A of from my A of I can extract my new number as well as my previous number. Please write clear in the chat if you have understood this part, right? Please give me a quick clear in the chat and like the video if you have understood this part, so that we can move forward. Please like the video, guys, and give me a quick plus in the chat, right? Okay, now A of I has to store two numbers. One is the new number that I'll be storing at that particular position. Suppose in place of 5 I have to store 3, that's perfectly fine, but I also need to keep a track of the previous number. So what I can do here is I can very safely say that if I want to store it this way, so I can use a concept, right? What concept I can use? I can say that, okay, what is the current number? Let's consider for this 5, because this 0 is still remaining at its position. So let's suppose that the current number was this, right? This is the resultant array that you want, right? This is the resultant array that you want, and this is the array A that has been given to you, right? And this is the resultant array that you want. All of you can just like the video and give me a plus 1 in the chat if you understood up till now. So if this element is 5, right? So now notice this element is 5. So what is the special thing about this element, right? What is so special about this element? What is the value of n here? What is n? N is the number of elements. What is the value of n? N, I can say 1 2 3 4 5 6. So n value is 6, right? So what I can do is if suppose the current element is what? Current element is 5. So I don't want to lose it, right? I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose my n, right? I don't want to lose my current element. I don't want to lose this particular current element. So I'll say that, okay, 5 is there. Let me do some addition. Maybe I can do some addition. So what I'll do is I have n value is 6, right? So I'll try to decipher it in such a way that what is the value of n? I'll say, okay, n into, what I can do is A of I, something like this. What if I do something like this? Let's try and understand what I am doing. Then we'll be able to observe it. N into A of I. Notice this part. Notice this part. What will happen in this particular situation? Let me know. Guys, let me know a little quick. Notice what I've done. What I've done is I have the current A of I. So I'm saying that A of I is equal to nothing but A of I plus A of I. I'm saying that, okay, every A of I will be nothing but A of I plus n into A of I, right? This is what I'm saying. How am I claiming this? So suppose the current element is 5, right? Suppose this particular element is 5. Then what is the value of n? N value is 6, right? What is A of I? So A of I is what? A of I here would be nothing but A of I would be 5, right? So what is A of 5? At A of 5, which element do I have? I have 3, right? So I'll have 3 here. So instead of this, I'll write 3. So what is this? 5 plus 18 will give me a 23, right? 5 plus 18 will give me a 23, right? This is how I am trying to decipher. Now if I have this 23, right? I have this 23. That's perfectly fine. I have this 23. What I can do with this 23? Notice what I can do with this 23. How can I get a 5 from this 23? Can anyone let me know in the chat how I can get 5? How I can get 5? Anyone will like to tell me? Anyone from the chat? Anyone would like to tell me how I can get 5 or how I can get the new number? If I have 23, right? If I have 23, if I have the current element as 23, so how can I get the new numbers and things like this? How can I get 3 here, right? At this particular position, instead of this 5, now notice, instead of this 5, I have 23 stored here, right? So let me write it here. So instead of this 5, I have 23 stored there. If I want a 3, so currently A of I is 23, right? Currently A of I is 23. I hope that you have understood up till now. Currently my A of I is 23. So if my A of I is 23, I have to get 3. Can I say that if I divide 23 by the value of n, that is 6, 23 by n, that is 23 by 6, what will I get? I will get 3. Yes, I am getting a 3 here, right? Can you observe this thing? Can you observe this thing, right? Can you observe this thing? Can you observe this thing? Just let me know in the chat. A little quick, let me know in the chat. A little quick. Let me know, guys. Let me know. Can I say that if I have a particular a of I, right? Can I say that if I have a particular a of I, if I want this result, so what I can do is I must have calculated all this a of I like this. So a of I divided by n will give me the answer for the current index. That is, here it was 23. So I divided 23 by 6. So it gave me what? 3, right? 6 3s are 18. So I just had to get the divisor part, right? Not modulus 5 divided, yes. So I'll get, how will I get 3? Because like 6 3s are 18, right? So I'll get this part, right? 3 here. Now if I had to retrieve 5, right? If I had to get the new number, right? If I had to get the new number, what I'm saying is my n value is nothing but 6, right? My n value is 6. What I'm saying is, I hope that this much part is clear to everyone. I'm trying to bring it a lot of intuition here. So currently my a of I is 23, right? Now what I'm saying is, if I want to move to the new number, if I want to move to the new number, if I want to write the new number, so I can say that the new number will be nothing but a of I divided by n. That is 23 divided by n is 6. So it will be 3. You can see that 3 is here, right? 3 is here. So I have got 3. How I can get 3? I have told you, right? I can get 3 from this 25. I can retrieve the new number, right? Can I get the previous number as well? That is the challenge. Can I get the previous number? Yes, I can get the previous number as well. How I can get the previous number? I can get the previous number also very easily. How? Because current number is 23. If I do 23 modulus n, that is 23 mod 6. What will I get? I'll get nothing but 5. And this was the previous element. So now I have a track of both. Right? Have you understood this part? Now I have a track of the previous element as well as the current element. Now what I can do is, my a of I modulus a of I, the new element I can get the new element at the current index I as a of I divided by n, and the previous element I can get by doing a of I modulo n, right? Is this much part clear to everybody? Please give me a quick plus one in the chat if you have understood this part, because I've tried to explain a little bit. So what I've done is, for every element, let me just summarize this part. So for every element, what I've done is I have done this. I'll have to manipulate it a little bit more. I'll let you know why. So a of I, current element, plus n into this thing. What? N into a of I, right? A of I, like this, right? This is what I've done. N into a of I, right? This is what I've done. For every a of I, I've changed it this way. And this particular a of I, if I divide it by n, so it becomes the new a of I, and the previous I just modulo by n, so I'll get it, right? Please give me a plus one in the chat if you have understood this part, right? Have you guys understood this much part as I have told you, right? So let's now calculate how I was getting this. So I had 5, right? I had 5, so I'll write 5 plus what was n, and n was 6. What is a of I? A of I is 5. What is a of 5? A of 5 is this element 3, so this element is 3. So I'll get what? 18 plus 5 will give me 23. Now 23 divided by 6 will give me 3, which is the element that I wanted here in the end, but the final element that I wanted. So so this element a of I is storing what? It is storing the current the new element. As a of I divided by n, I'll get this new element. And if I do this 23 modulus 6, so what will I get? I'll get 5, right? 23 mod 6, that is what I'm doing here, 23 mod 6. So I'm getting a 5 here, so I can also keep a track of the previous element, and I will require the previous element as well, right? Right? Is this much part clear to everybody? Just let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Okay, now this much part is clear. Now let's try and do this again. Let's try and do this for the complete array, and there will be one difficulty that we'll face, and now we have to overcome that part as well. So I'll let you know how we are overcoming that part as well, right? What I can do is, let me just copy paste this array that we have with us, right? Okay, this is the array that we are having, and we have to get it like this, right? So let me write the formula that I have generated here. So the formula is a of I is equal to a of I. This is the initial formula that we are thinking about, right? A of I is equal to a of I n into a of I, like this, right? So this is something that we are thinking of. Now the thing with this particular approach is, if I have 0, so what will be here? So I have the element 0, right? So currently I'll be at this particular element. So what is this element? So this particular element will be 0 plus n into a of I is 0, and a of 0 is what? 0, right? A of 0 is 0. So that means a of 0. So this will come out to be 0, right? This comes out to be 0. So this means that a of 0 is 0. So that means I'll multiply n by 0. So I'll get 0, right? So in this particular position, what I'll get as the array is 0, right? So I'll say, okay, I have 0. This is the initial array. that has been given to me. This is the resultant array, and let's talk about the intermediate array that we are getting, right? This is the intermediate array, right? Let's say intermediate array that we are generating in the middle, so that this will be nothing but 0, right? Now what will happen with this 5? Let's try and observe what will happen with this 5. So 5 will be nothing but 5 plus this thing n, that is n is 6, right? So n value is 6 because n here is 6, right guys? N here is 6. So 6 into this thing, that is a of I. So a of what? A of nothing but 5. So this a of 5 is what? A of 5 is nothing but 3. So a of 3 is what? A of 3 is this value 0 1 2 3. So a of 3 is nothing but right. So at this particular value what we have? A of 5, right? So on this particular value I have 3, so that's why I'll update it like this. Please give me a +1 in the chat if you understood this much part, right? So what I'm doing here is a of I like this, right? So this is happening what? The current element here a of I is nothing but 5. Now which is the element at the index 5? It is 3. So I'll write okay this is nothing but 3. So since it is 3, so it will be nothing but this will be 18, this will be 5, so I'll get 23, right? So I'll get 23 here. I'll get 23 here. So notice that current a of I is 23, right? So I'll say okay, that's perfectly fine. Now what I'll get next, right? Let's move to the next index. Now the challenges will be there. Now if I move to this particular index, right? So what will I write it? This will be nothing but a of I plus 6 into a of I, right? A of 1, right? What is a of 1? What is a of 1? At a of 1, what do I have? At a of 1, do I have that particular element that I wanted? At a of 1, I have this particular element, that is 5. So at a of 1, I have 5. So I'll say okay 5. What is at a of 5? I'll say that okay, at a of 5, the element that I have is 3. So let me see, just give me a second, right? Okay, is this much part clear to everyone, right, up till now? That okay, a of 1, right? A of 1, what is the element here? A of what is at a of 1, right? So at a of 1 I have the element as 5. So since the element is 5, so what will happen? Since the element is 5, so this will become nothing but this thing, this whole will become like a of 1, right? A of 1, what is the element at 1? A of 1, so this is the element, right? A of I, no, sorry, let me write it this way. So this is I, so this particular element is 1, right? This particular element is 1. So what is at a of 1? At a of 1, what do I have? At a of 1, I have 5, right? But do I actually have 5 now? No, I'm not using any extra array, right? Please give me a +1 in the chat, guys, so that I can observe that whether you are understanding up till now or not. Now I don't have 5, right? I required 5, but I have 23, right? I required 5. A of 1 is what? A of 1 is currently 23, right? A of 1 is 23. This is the intermediate value. A of 1 is 23. But I was thinking that okay, 5 must have been present there, right? 5 must have been present there, right? So that is why what I can do is I need 5. How can I get 5? So I told you that how can I get 5? I can take modulus n, right? I can do modulus n. So a of I will give me the previous, this will give me the previous, right? So how can I get it? I can modulo it with n, right? So this is what I can do. So I can do a of I, let me write it like this. So this is nothing but a of I, and I'm taking modulus n, right? This is what I'm doing. So what will I get here? Here also I'll get 5, right? This value will be nothing but 5. So if I'll get 5 here, right? So what is this? This was nothing but 6 into, I'll tell you what was happening. A of I, right? So this current element, ith element was 1. So this was 1. So this, since this was 1, so a of this particular element a of I will become what? It would become 23. But multiplying it with 23 does not make sense, right? Every time I was multiplying it with the element that I wanted it to change, right? So I wanted it to change to 5, but I have 23 here. How can I get from this 23? How can I get 5? I can get 5 if I modulo it with n, right? So how am I getting this 23? I'm getting this 23 with the help of a of I, right? I'm getting this with the help of a of I, and if I mod it with n, so I'll get 5, right? The previous element I've already told you, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? Please write clear in the chat, guys. Have you understood this part? How am I getting this? So in this place, what I'll write, this was 23. Now I'll write 31 here, right? I'll write 31 here. Now next up what will happen is, let me move to the next index. So I'll move to this particular index, that is 2. So what will happen here? So it is nothing but 2 plus this thing, 2 plus 6 into a of what? A of I is 2. So a of 2 is what? 31, right? A of 2 is 31, but I told you we'll be taking the mod like this, a of I mod n, right? Gaurav has understood it. What about others? I hope that everyone else has also understood it, right? So what I'll be doing is, I have this 31 mod n. So if I do 31 mod n, what will I get? What will I get at this 31 mod n? So if I have this element, right? So a of I, right? If I had this, so current element is what? Current element is 2, right? So a of 2 is what? This particular element. So that is nothing but I should have 1. So this will mean that it will become what? It will become nothing but 8, right? So at this particular index I'll be writing 8. Why I'll be writing 8 and I'll be getting the answer? Because if I have 8 here, right? If my a of I is 8, so if I do 8 divided by 6, so I'll get 1. So I'll get this value, right? And what if I have 8 and like I have 8, right? So if I do 8 modulus 6, so I'll get 2. So I'll get this particular value as well, right? So that's how I'm moving forward and backward. That is how I'm accessing the previous and the forward value, right? Now I'll be at this particular index, right? I'll be at this particular index. What is this particular index? It is nothing but a of I plus 6 into a of I. That will be nothing but what? A of I is 4. So 4, which is the element at the 4th index, it is 4 itself. So I'll multiply it with 4. Taking the mod with 6 will give me 4 only. So this will be 24, this will be 28, right? So at this particular index, the element will become 28. Now if I have 28 here, so how am I moving back and forth? So 28 divided by 6 will give me 4, right? 28 divided by 6, you can see that I am getting 4. And if I do 28 modulus 6, what am I getting? I am getting 2. So you can see that 28 modulus 6, I am getting 4, right? So this particular value I am getting, 4, right? So this is what I am getting. Now let's look at the last particular element that I have, right? Have you all understood this much part? I hope that you have understood. Shreya and others, Shreya, Zaid and Peaky Blinder and Summer, Navneet, Gaurav, Rahul, all of you have understood this much part up till now, right? Now I'll be at this particular index. If I am at this particular index, what is the element that I have? Of the current element as 3, so I'll do 3 plus n into a of I, right? This is what I will do. And why am I doing a modulus of this value? Why am I doing a modulus of this particular value, whole value, right? Why am I taking a mod of this value, right? This particular value, a of I mod n, right? First of all, I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Because I want the previous value, right? I want the previous value, so that is why I'm doing this. So what is this? This is a of I, right? So this current value is 3. So what is at a of 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. So this element at the value 3, what do I have? I have 0, 1, 2, 3. So at 3 I have 8, right? Actually I have 8, but I'll mod it with 6. So what will I get? So this is what I'm doing, a of I mod n. So what I'm getting is 2, right? So I'll get this value 2. So that is what I wanted. The previous value I should have access to. So I'll do 6 into 2. What will I get? If I'll do this thing, right? So what was this? A of I. So it was nothing but 3. So what was that? 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this was 2. So that is why 6 into 2 will give me 12. So 6 into 2 will give me 12. So it will be 15. So I'll write 15 here, right? I'll write 15 here. Now I have all the values, right? Now I have all the values. Now I just want to update my a of I. So how will I update my a of I? So this is the formula that we had initially, but now I know that what I need to do is, apart from this, I need to do n into a of I modulo n to get the previous value, right? Modulo n. Let me just update this. So this would be nothing but modulo n, right? Now this is the thing that's happening here, and what is happening is, now every time in the final result, what I'll be doing is, I'll be doing a of I is equal to a of I divided by n, because now the array has got updated. Why? Because if I have this value 0, so this 0 divided by 6, what will I get? 0 divided by 6 will give me 0, so I'm getting 0 here. Now at this particular element, what will I get? 23 divided by 6 will give me 3, so I'm getting 3 here. Now 31, for 31, so 31 divided by 6 will give me what? 31 divided by 6 will give me 5, so I'm getting 5 here. Now let's look at the next element. So the next element is 8. right? So here a of I is 8, so 8 divided by 6 will give me 1, then 28 divided by 6 will give me what, 4, so I'm getting 4 here. And what is the next element that I'm getting? I'm getting next element as 15, so 15 divided by 6 will give me 2, so that is why I'm getting 2. And you can see that the final answer that I have is nothing but 0 3 5 1 4 2. So let me check here. So I have here also I have 0 3 5 1 4 2, and let me show you the code like how I have done this. Please give me a +1 in the chat, guys, if you have understood this much part correctly. So what I've done basically is I have this particular array, right? So every time I'm this code is very much simple, right? I'll say the code is very much simple. What I've done is I have this particular array, so every time I've updated my a of I such that this current a of I is what the current element, right? The current element, or you can say the previous element. Now this is how I'm making the new element, right? This is how I'm changing it to the new element. As I told you, I'll be dividing it, right? And why am I doing a mod here? Because I want to access the previous values, right? That is why I'm doing mod in, right? So this is like if I had, in this case, if I had 31, so I'll do 31 mod 6, so I'll get what? I'll get this thing, that is 1, right? And let's say if I had 23, right? If a of I, let's suppose that a of I was what? If a of I was something like this value, a of I was this thing, 23. Just give me a second, guys. If a of I was 23, then I'll do the mod of this value, right? So I'll do the mod with 6 will give me nothing but 5. So that is why I was having 5 here, right? Because I was ultimately what I was doing was I was doing this, right? N into 5, right? N into 5. So that's why I need to keep a mod here. And then in the end, what you simply do is, once this much part is done, so what you do simply is you just update your a of I is equal to a of I plus n into a of I modulus n. And once you have done that, so simply you just divide a of I is equal to a of I divided by n, and you will get the new element, right? So that is how you are keeping a track of the previous and the next element every time. If you want the previous element, then you can take mod. If you want the new element, then you can just divide it by n, then you will get both the elements, and you are doing this in order of one space. So this is how I've done it. And now one more thing that I want to tell you, if you are someone who is new to the channel, if you like my explanation, so you can consider to like this channel that we have, that is Codera. And thanks a lot for watching, everyone. If you still have doubts, so you can mention that in the comments. I'm looking at the comments for 30 seconds more. Shreya and others, if it is clear to you, you can write clear in the chat so that I can understand that you all have understood this particular question, right? So it was a good problem. We understood this problem, like how to do this we have understood like how to do this in order of n time and order of n space. And if we had to do it in this way, so it was a very easy problem, because we had just had to make another array and we have to update it. Otherwise, if we had to do this in order of one space without using the extra space, then in each element of the array will store two values, right? The previous and the next. So you have to decipher like how we have to do this. So we actually did this in this particular problem. So it was order of n time that we took, and order of one space we did it. Like every a of I was storing two particular values, right? That is the previous and the next, right? So that is what was happening. So every time I did a of I modulus n, so I was getting the previous, and a of I divide by n, I was getting the new value that I had to store here, right? So this was the problem of the day for 18th of Feb. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching this video. I'll see you soon in the next live. Till then, take care.